So I want to welcome everyone who's joining us on Facebook Live for part 2 of our 3-part family engagement series on caregiving. Last time we had some issues. Oh, sorry, I need to mute my my email so that doesn't come through like that again. Thank everyone for joining us on Facebook Live today. The last time we tried to go live, it did not connect, but we were able to upload that video to our YouTube channel for the Highlands Economic Partnership. So thankfully, you all were still able to see that. Just a couple of notes I want to mention. After we wrap up this session, we will upload this video to the Highlands YouTube channel, just like we did that first one, and then we'll share it out to our social media platforms. So if you see it on social, please share it. We want to get the word out to as many people as we possibly can. And again, just to reiterate, if you missed part 1 on beginning the caregiver journey, then you can find that recording on the Highlands Economic Partnership YouTube channel. Any questions that you all may have during this session, if you just want to drop those in the comment box, and we'll answer those at the end of this presentation. All right, so joining us again as our guest speaker is Ms. Clare Farless. So before we jump into the presentation, I do want to give a quick reintroduction of Clare, just for anyone who may not have seen the first session. She spoke to caregiving resources, or starting the caregiver journey on our first session, and then again she's joining us again. So she holds 2 bachelor's of science degrees in sociology and interdisciplinary studies and a master's degree in educational psychology with a concentration in case management supervision from Tennessee Tech University. She's worked the past 11 years for the Upper Cumberland Development District Area Agency on Aging and Disability, and the past 2 years as an adjunct faculty member for the Tennessee Tech College of Interdisciplinary Studies. She teaches classes on caregiving there. Her passion for caregiving does come from life experience. She grew up with her grandmother watching over her while her mother worked to support the family. In Clare's early 20s, while trying to complete her first bachelor's degree, she found herself taking care of her mother, who was terminally ill. And that experience is what set her drive and passion to help fellow caregivers in the community. Clare is amazing. So if you haven't heard her speak yet, this is going to be a real treat. She has a lot of great information to share, so I'm excited for you all to hear from her. But before we jump into the presentation, since our last session that we had, and because it wasn't Facebook Live and we didn't have live questions coming in, we did have some follow-up questions submitted. So really quickly, Clare, if you're okay with that, I'm going to go ahead and give you those questions to answer, because I believe they're good lead-ins for the presentation. And so the first question that was shared with us, asked of us, is what services are available in the Upper Cumberland area to help caregivers?
That's a great question, and that's one that I receive often. Mainly what is available are for individuals who need the in-home services. That's what we provide here at the area agency. It's the in-home respite, which respite services can be listed as homemaker, personal care, home delivered meals, and also supplemental services. But what we all need to remember, if you remember anything, is that the Area Agency on Aging is your first point of contact for caregiving needs. That is because that's how we've been set up through our state entity. So if you're needing resources for in-home services, you want to contact your local Area Agency on Aging and Disability. And here, that number is 931-432-4111, and you want to ask for our intake specialist. Now, once you get to an intake specialist, what they're going to do is ask you a series of questions. That is going to help funnel us through the system to see which route we need to go. In the state of Tennessee, Choices is our long-term care. So if you're needing long-term care services for one of your family members, friend, neighbor, Choices is, it will be what you get screened for first. Choices is a great benefit to caregivers and those that participate in the program, because it can offer a lot more in-home services than what our programs can provide. So through Choices, you can get the same homemaker services, personal care, home delivered meals, and also supplemental services and respite care through Choices. That's if you want to keep your services in the home. So Choices is a great program, can help support caregivers in need. But if you choose to not go with the Choices route, and there are several reasons for that. One, your person that you're having screened or your loved one may be over the $2,000 income threshold monthly. That could be a reason. They could have more than $2,000 in the bank for a single entity. But for a married couple, it could be no more than, I think, roughly 24,000 for them. Now those would be reasons why you wouldn't go the Choices route if you were over the income. Also, if you own your own home, there is an estate recovery. But what people need to know about the estate recovery is it doesn't take place until that individual has passed away. So if we do have a married couple that's applying for maybe for the husband, the wife doesn't have to worry about her home being ripped out from underneath her. Choices doesn't do that. They will allow her, as long as her name was on the home with the husband, to stay in that home until she passes away, and she'll be also eligible for Choices as well. So that's one route that we can go. Choices is also for if they are in the nursing home and they need assistance paying for long-term care. That it will be the Choices program. There's a couple of different groups, and I'll show you in a little bit later on where you can find all the great detailed information about the Choices program. But let's say you were screened out of Choices. Well, your next route that you can take is actually through some of the programs that we provide here at the area agency. One is for options for community living. The other are what we call Title III services, and then Family Caregiver program. And again, with those programs, we provide the in-home services, but not as many hours as Choices can. So that would be where you would start, is at the area agency if you're needing those type of services. But if you're a veteran, if you're taking care of a loved one that is a veteran, then one of the other places that you need to start will be the veteran services. So depending on what county you are in, you have a liaison in that county that would help walk you through veteran services to see if you qualify. I always laugh and say that I've never found a system more complicated than Medicare. Veteran services is a little bit more complicated. When we sat through a training, what I got out of it was, I just need to refer you to your liaison in that area. There's a lot of ifs and then thens that comes with veteran services, but what you would be wanting to ask about is aid and attendance. And that is the program that provides some financial support to keep your loved one in the home. So you can either hire from the outside in-home services, or you can use their aides that come through their program. So that being said, let's recap. Choices is the first thing that you'll be screened for, and the reason that is because our state entity says that because Choices doesn't have a waiting list, you have to be screened for Choices first. So don't be scared. If you don't want Choices, it's okay. You still are going to be screened first, and then you'll be able to come over to our waiting list for the other programs. Options you will not be eligible for, and that is because you've turned down Choices on your own. So there are some ifs and some exemptions there. But the other things that you can access without even having to go onto the waiting list is we have an in-home counseling program that doesn't have a wait list for. If you're taking care of your loved one and you're finding that the stress of taking care of that person is getting to you and you need some support but can't afford it, we can provide an in-home counselor that will either come to your home or you can come to his office depending on your location. He is located here in Cookeville. And then obviously with COVID, that's put a little ratchet into our system as well. So he does do counseling visits by phone or through telemedicine, whichever one that you're more comfortable with. So that is a program for caregivers that you can immediately get that help through that assistance. Recently too, through the CARES Act, we've been able to fund those that are over the age of 60 and would like the in-home counseling can also contact us to apply for that counseling as well. So just for those basic needs, those are the basic. Everything else we're going to go over in my presentation.
Awesome. Thank you, Claire. And I know that a lot of this information seems overwhelming and intimidating and sometimes hard to remember. So just so you all are aware, we will be sharing out these resources, the links and everything that Ms. Claire talks about during this presentation, previous presentations. Those will be available to you through the Highlands page, our social media pages, and as well as the Upper Cumberland Development District's pages. So just keep an eye out for those. And then we had one more question to come through from our last session, and it was, can I get paid to take care of my loved one?
Mm-hmm. And that is, I would like to say there's an easy answer to that, but for the short answer, no, it's going to be the answer for that. That's because there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. Earlier I mentioned choices. So if your loved one does get onto choices, the way that you can be paid through that is if you don't live in the home. And then it also depends on your relationship to the person that you're wanting to care for. Choices is very strict on who they will allow to be that in-home worker for them. So instead of going with a provider, you can get it set up through what we call consumer directives. But there is not any state program that's going to provide a direct payment to you to take care of your loved one. Through the Family Caregiver Program, if you're eligible for it and come on to our program, we do have a voucher program that what we can do is set up you as the care provider in that situation. For example, I had a husband and wife taking care of his mother, and he lost his job and still was providing that care to his mom. So what we did was we switched him from the caregiver and listed his wife. So she was now listed as the caregiver for his mother. And then we put him as the care provider. And through this program, it allows us a lot more leeway. But as far as a direct payment for taking care of your loved one, there is not anything in the state of Tennessee. Now, outside of the state of Tennessee, there are other states that you may hear of providing that. I've heard of New York, California, Florida, several others that do provide that. But unfortunately, here in the state of Tennessee, we do not have anything like that set up.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let you jump right into your presentation. I think you're going to share the information from your screen.
Yes.
So we'll get started.
Okay, great. One of the first things I'm going to share with you all, so bear with me, is our resource guide. We just put this together in lieu of our annual event, our Senior Expo. And that event was set up to be able to provide not all, but as many resources as we could to seniors and caregivers. So this guide will be available through Highlands. I've shared this with you all. But I wanted to go through and point out a few things that I think are valuable to you as a caregiver and just as a senior. So we've got some pictures from our past, but on our table of contents here, the first section we're going to look at is our community resources that we have set up. There's a few in there that I really want to point out to you all that are very helpful. And then we're going to go over some of the help programs that we have here at the Upper Cumberland Development District, along with at the Upper Cumberland Human Resource Agency. So let's kind of dive in here and take a good look at some of the resources that are in this guide that will be helpful. Obviously, we've got some people that have advertised through our guide, but here starts on page 5 is the Upper Cumberland Community Resource page. So here we have tried to put together as many resources as we can. So a couple of them that I really want to point out to you. First is AARP. AARP has a wonderful website that really supports caregivers and your journey. They have a lot of great material. I believe I shared with you all last time the Preparing to Care PDF, and that was taken from AARP's website. So AARP is a great website for those of you that are caring for a loved one. There are multiple others. Another one that you really need to know is Adult Protective Services. We abbreviate and call it APS. APS is where you would report fraud, neglect. If you happen to notice a neighbor that is doing a lot of maybe self-neglect, or maybe taking advantage of by a family member or someone they know, then this is your resource here, is Adult Protective Services. You can also look them up on our state website, and you can submit a referral that is anonymous through that website. So those of you that might be nervous, giving your name, you don't have to. You can do that anonymously. And just a reminder, in the state of Tennessee, we are all mandated reporters. So if any of us, not just us healthcare professionals, suspect, so we don't even have to have proof, that someone, an older individual, is being exploited, abused, those kind of things, then we are mandated by the state of Tennessee to report that. And then we let APS sort that out, whether there is a valid claim or not. So great services there through them. Those ladies work incredibly hard, and my hat goes off to them. So we've got some others listed on here. We have, you can see those, drug intake, Alcoholic Anonymous, and those type of things. One that I want to point out on here is the Alexander Graham Bell Association for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing. That is a resource for this, if you are hearing impaired, that's a great resource for you as well. We have the Veterans Administration listed here. Alzheimer's Association is also listed on our resource guide, and they are great with information. They provide a lot of great services to caregivers and individuals that are dealing with dementia. But I do want to point out that Alzheimer's Tennessee, which is next on our list, is actually here locally in the Upper Cumberland, and that's who does a lot more of the outreach. And later on, I'm going to point out a great resource through Alzheimer's Tennessee on their website. So just bear with me there. So we've got a lot of great resources here on our page that you can look through and see. We have churches listed that provide different kinds of services and those type of things. Again, I want to go ahead and go through a few that I find to be the most helpful on here. Moving on, there's so many. So look through this. There might be one that you might find. The Daily Bread Ministry in Jamestown is a great resource for that county. Disabled American Veterans Chapter is great for veterans to look into. So let's see if there are any others on here that I really want to point out. If you are in the Fairfield Glade area up in Crossville, Fairfield Glade Residential Services is a great resource to you all. They have their own transportation programs they've set up in that community, along with in-home services through volunteers, which is a great service to you all. There are several you can see on here. Families in Crisis Center, which is great. There are several other free legal information. This is a 1-800 number that you can reach out to and call about legal information. Also, we have the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee, which serves this area, and they are a great resource as well. But on here, one of the things that I want to point out is the Here Now. It's through the Starkey Foundation, and you can see the 1-800 number there. This is a great program if you are taking care of somebody or know someone that is in need of hearing aids. So through this program, that they would charge an application fee per ear. Usually it's anywhere from $100 to $150 per year. And they do have programs set up to help members if you can't afford that application fee. But through that program, they will equip you with either 1 to 2 hearing aids, depending on what you actually need. And it's a great program. I've helped several clients utilize this program and get their hearing aids. And the hearing aids were worth about $7,000 worth of hearing aids. So great resource. So now Medicare will pay if your loved one is on Medicare. Medicare will pay for the hearing test, but not for the actual equipment. So keep that in mind. And that's why Here Now is a great resource for those of you. Let's see if we've got some other services here that I want to point out to you. The multiple I'm not going to pronounce that right. The MS Society down here in Brentwood, they're really great about helping. There's also the multiple sclerosis, out of Nashville, but there's also the Cerebral Palsy Foundation of Middle Tennessee that is a great resource, along with like Habitat for Humanity. They also provide ramps for those in the community that may be disabled or are needing that service. So keep that in mind as well. So now also Pfizer prescription assistance and needymeds.org. That is something that we're going to go through here in just a few minutes, and I'm really going to show you why those are so helpful. So there's some other resources in here. I'm not going to read off all of these. Take your time, go through it. But I want to kind of point out to you a couple of other things that are very helpful. Again, I mentioned Habitat, but Habitat has recently changed from Putnam Habitat for Humanity to the Upper Cumberland Habitat for Humanity. And they provide some services to help us age in place. So you can read that information in the resource guide, and it has their contact for that. Lynetta Hill is your contact, and you've got her extension there. So let's move on. There are some other ones that I really want to point out to you. Also in the resource guide, those of you that need that may be needing food assistance, we have a list of food pantries in the Upper Cumberland. There are several. There's 2 pages worth. Those are very helpful to you all. I will say here in Putnam County, Helping Hands has been a great charity for help with food insecurities. Hippie Jack, he does a wonderful job in his community as well. Along with a few other churches. So again, we're going to kind of move along. There's one specifically that I'm looking for that I know that's in here that I want to point out to you all. And that is a Smile on 60 Plus, and it is a dental assistance. So through this program, once I get to the flyer, there's a lot of pages in here, guys. It took us quite a long time to put this together, but Smile on 60 Plus, it will provide some free dental assistance. So yes, here we come on this. Okay. So right here is the contact information for Smile on 60 Plus. So you can see the eligibility. Last year, before COVID, I believe it was 2019 in May, we had what they call a mobile clinic, a dental mobile clinic come into the Upper Cumberland, and we were able to serve 25 people, and those 25 people received, it was close to $10,000 worth of services, from whether it was a filling to an extraction, all kinds of great things. So they do provide that to members of the community over the age of 60, and they are a statewide resource. For those of us in the Upper Cumberland, we do have to travel to Lebanon. That is where the closest clinic to us is. But also they have the Interfaith Clinic there in Nashville. Great or wonderful clinics. I've taken several clients to them, and it's been wonderful. Now you can't have any dental insurance. So what you have to keep in mind is if you have a private policy, Even though it doesn't cover a lot, unfortunately, that would knock you out. So, with open enrollment coming up, now might be your time to look at changing your dental plan and coverage. So maybe you can meet the eligibility. Now, not all services are going to be free. If you need a bridge and those type of things, they give it to you at a discounted rate. For example, I had a client I took to get a bridge, and the amount that she was going to have to pay was around $800. And they also gave me a comparison list to look at. The what they call the real world value of that service was $5,200. So at a significant discount, you'll get your procedures, and they'll work with you as well. Great program. I can't. They are just can't speak highly of them enough of them. I think I'm trying to say I just really want to brag on that program and what they do, because this is a huge need for us in the Upper Cumberland. So moving on, I want to go ahead and move down a little bit closer to the development districts pages, and I want to go over the resources that we have here in the Upper Cumberland. So one of the things that a great resource that is housed here at the DD is our housing program. So you can see here that they provide low-income housing. They are through the all 14 counties in the Upper Cumberland. We have apartment complexes, and in a few of the counties we have homes for rent as well. And you can see that you can see here, we also have the farm labor. So there are some complexes that are just for migrant farmers. We have one complex in Morrison, Tennessee, Warren County, and then we also have another one in DeKalb County as well. So here's a list, and like I said, in our resource guide, of all the complexes. If you're interested, you can see the number down here at the bottom to apply. Another great program that we have here is ran through our special projects, and Vicki Durham is the coordinator there. Now, this is emergency home repair. Now, there is a waiting list for this, so I encourage you that if this is something that you are wanting to look into, that you go ahead and reach out to Vicki so she can get your application and tell you the other requirements. There is a match requirement for this program, but Vicki does a great job at talking to you about what we can utilize as a match and what we cannot. So reach out to Vicki and see about that if you're in need of some repairs on your home. Now, just recently we have received this program, which is prepackaged home mortgages and renovation loans through THDA and the USDA. Again, it's very new, so I don't know enough to really go into detail about that. But if you would like to get more information, call our main office number and we'll route you to the person that's involved with that. Another program I want to show you that's a great resource for caregivers is if you are taking care of a relative child that is under the age of 18. This is the program that may help you. They are in again, in all 14 counties of the Upper Cumberland, and you can see here the resources that they have available. The support groups, I don't believe that they're doing support groups at this time with everything that's happened with COVID, but they're still a great resource to you all. Melissa Allison is the contact person there for that program, and you can see her number here at the bottom. Again, can't speak, I'm getting my words up, but they are just wonderful. I really want to brag on them. I have nothing but kind things to say about that program. And this is a very relevant program for us right now. This is S&P, and they help, like it says, they help fight healthcare fraud. So those of you that are taking care of your loved one, and you notice on their explanation of benefits notice that there are charges on there that you do not know what they go to and why they're there. This is the program that you want to call, because they will work with you to figure out what that might be. So we want to say that fraud, we like to think that fraud more takes place because of an accident, like accidental billing error on your Medicare. So we want to look at the positives, but if there was a mistake, our coordinator, which is Lonnie Hitchcock, will help walk you through that. So that is for people on Medicare, a great program there. Also, another thing that we have that is wonderful assistance for caregivers is our legal assistance and ombudsman program. So Marie Ferrin obviously will be our speaker next time, and she can go into more depth about what all she serves and can help you with. But this is a great resource for you as a caregiver, especially the ombudsman program. So if you have a loved one that is in a nursing facility, and maybe you're not happy with what's how they're being treated, or maybe it's because of, like with COVID, you have been cast out and are not allowed in, and you feel like you have some rights that are being violated, then I would recommend that you contact the ombudsman, Kim Fowler. Wonderful lady, has a great heart for our population that we're dealing with, and she'll walk you through what your rights are, and she'll even be the mediator between you and the facility to help work out the issue, whatever that might be. Her and Marie do a great job. Now, public guardianship is a program that you have to be that has to go through the court system, so I'm not going to get into too much in depth on that. But again, you heard me mention our INA, information and assistance. That is where really you need to start. That's where I would recommend you call first, because through INA, they can look up other resources and they can tell you if you're eligible for the Choices program and our other in-home services program. So they're a great resource to you as well. And you can see the number there. That's the local, that is the 1-800 number, and that will route you through wherever you're at throughout the state to your local area agency. And here in Tennessee, or here in Upper Cumberland, obviously, it's going to route you to us. Another great program that we have now is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, formerly called the food stamps is what it's been formerly called, but we're trying to get away from calling it that. But this is for seniors or disabled that need an advocate to help you filling out the forms for the SNAP benefit. And Miranda does a great job as well. She helps you fill out the application and helps hopefully raise the amount that you would normally get through SNAP. The average dollar amount for a senior is $15. And that is unfortunate, but there are some things that we can count that will help raise that amount, such as medical bills, driving from the doctor, co-pays, those type of things. So if you're needing to see if you qualify for more of a SNAP benefit or to qualify for SNAP in general, please reach out to Miranda Malin and she'll help you navigate that system. Right now, we're doing open enrollment for Medicare Part D. So this is a great resource for those of you on Medicare or helping a loved one with Medicare. The State Health and Insurance Assistance Program will help you understand Medicare and help guide you through those hoops that you have to jump through. Also, they can help you apply for extra help. Extra help is something that we apply for you through the Social Security office that can help cover your Part B premium and help get your medicines at a lower cost. There's some other benefits as well. So remember SHIP. They are a great resource to you, especially right now during open enrollment. And just FYI, your open enrollment for your Part D plan will end December 7th. So make that call to them now rather than later, because if you wait until December 7th, there's no way they'll have time to get back to you. TennCare Choices, we spoke about, and there's some eligibility for that, and our home and community-based services, and that's where the options for community living is found and the other programs. Again, you're going to contact our INA. And also through the INA, that's where you'll be reached, that's where you'll go to also get on the waiting list for our National Family Caregiver Support Program. So through this program, We provide education to the public. If, let's say that your loved one recently has a diagnosis of dementia and you need help navigating where to turn and you don't have access to this video, reach out to our agency and get in contact with myself, and I'll help walk you through that and provide some more resources specifically that I think that will help you. I like to tell people I don't have all the answers, but I will try hard to find them out for you. And we do work really hard. So you can see my contact information there. And the Tennessee Commission on Aging and Disability, that's our abbreviated TCAD, that is our governing body, and we'll look at their website here in a little bit. Okay, senior centers, great resource. I know that they're not a lot of them are open. There is just a small percentage that are actually open, but that's a list of our senior centers there. Great. Now let's move on to UCHRA. So through UCHRA, they have a lot of great programs that can help you. As you can see on the phone screen here, utility bills, transportation, maybe paying for rent, or help with recovery. So we've got a list of all of their county offices here. Again, they're throughout the Upper Cumberland. So there's 14 offices and the main administrative office here at the Upper Cumberland. So Linnell Gaudsey is the director for the community services programs. And through community services, these are the programs that can help that can help you as a caregiver. Maybe your loved one doesn't have enough money to get through the month to help with groceries. So we have commodities. That is a program that you can set up. And if your loved one cannot get out to the commodities events, you can also sign up a surrogate that can come and pick those up for you. LIHEAP, that's a great program right there that I want to point out to you. LIHEAP will help you pay for your electric bill. They give you so much money that can help go toward your electric throughout the year. It is a federal grant, so it's running off of October 1 through September 30th of the year. So they've just had their enrollment period for applications, but please go ahead and reach out to them because you never know, they could still have funding available. And also that they'll pay for gas heat and wood. They will actually pay if you have a wood stove. They can help pay for you to have wood for your stove. So great program there. And as you can see, there's some other programs that they have. The Community Services Block Grant can help you maybe with a one-time payment to pay for a down payment for renting a place or for rent, a mortgage, those type of things. They also have the Ryan White AIDS partnership. That is a great resource, can help out with medication and those type of things. So a lot of great programs there at UCHRA. They also, one of the things that not a lot of people realize is that you can actually get Glucerna and Ensure at a very discounted rate at their office. So it's by the case, and yes, it has it. Only $25 per case for Glucerna, and then in a variety of, I'm sorry, that's $25 for Ensure, and it's $35 a case for Glucerna, and they have a variety of different flavors that you can choose from. Also, we have our transportation program. So those of you that are in need of help with getting to your doctor's appointments, maybe it is just going grocery shopping, there are all kinds of transportation options for you, and you can see those here. Now, there's another program that I really want to point out is the My Ride program. So that provides senior volunteers to help with transportation. So one or two things, maybe you want to volunteer and you're looking for a program to volunteer for and you don't mind using your car, then this is a great program. And I recommend that, all of you reach out by calling this number to see if you qualify and if there's a waiting list for services, but great program there. So they also have, here they have the Community Intervention Director. So we've got some community interventions that they help with, corrections, juvenile interventions, and so on. They do have one Head Start, and that is in Van Buren County. that they start. We also have we also have a substance abuse program that can help those of you that are struggling with that. And right here also what they do, they provide long-term treatment options. There's a variety here that they provide. Also, you can see they have legal assistance, legal aid. Great program. And then we have our youth programs director here in the youth program. So another great program to help support you as the caregiver. So those are just our programs within just UCHRA and the UCDD. I hope I haven't missed any of those. So now what I want to do is bring you over to a couple other programs that I want to really point out to you. So the first one, let's go ahead and start with it. This is 211. And you can access that by a couple of different things.
Claire,
And that,
very quickly, I don't mean to interrupt, but it's not showing the new
okay,
document. So just wanted to alert you to that.
thank you. Thank you. Let me share it again. Okay, there we go. Can you see that now?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Okay, great. So 211 is a great program. And no matter where you're at in the state of Tennessee, or actually as it says down here throughout the United States and most of Canada, you can put in your zip code or city and state and find a resource. And so you can see how they help. They have a COVID-19 pandemic resource, crisis and emergency. So this is a great way of just looking up some resources for you, especially as a caregiver. This is a great resource for you as well. And you can see where it says to donate. You can also just call the number, like 411 information. You can also dial 211, and that will connect you to a call center, and they'll help you find resources as well. So moving along, I want to point out to you the Commission on Aging and Disability. Again, that's what I have said, that, that is who is our governing body, and they have a lot of great resources through here. So a couple that I want to really point out to you: Care Through Conversation. This program is a way for to help keep your loved one from being socially isolated. So they will do a call. I believe it's a monthly call to check in and just see how they're doing. So social isolation is bad for seniors and caregivers. It's worse than a major health issue, and it can impact your health like a major health issue. So you can sign up through that there. A lot of good things. Oops. Okay. A lot of great things that they offer. Now on here, you can find your local area agency on aging and disability. So no matter where you're at in the state of Tennessee, you can see it. We're at the Upper Cumberland AAAD, and our director is Holly Williams. This woman is amazing. She just has a heart for what she does, and I can't say enough great things about her. So you can look at that. Another thing I want to point out to you on this page is at the very bottom. But real quick, let me actually back up. Long-term care concerns. And that's where you're going to find some more, that's going to be our ombudsman as well. But you can also find some great information there. And over to the side, you can see here, home and community-based services. That will be, again, the programs that help with the in-home services. We have nutrition services. So look through this program, or this website. Just recently, they have been able to upload what caregiver tip sheets, and these are wonderful tip sheets for caregivers. A great resource. Anxiety, helping, keeping safe at home, driving, a lot of great things there for you to look at. Okay, now I want to point out down toward the bottom of this screen. So at the main screen that you come into, down at the bottom it says resources, and right here is where it can help you navigate what resources you're looking for. So I recommend hitting search for services. And that's going to bring up our database. And this is the same database that our INA staff uses to find resources. So let's just put in a major resource for caregivers is respite. So all I have to do is type in respite, and it's going to give me the resources that are available. So you can see the Tennessee Respite Coalition is one of the ones that would serve the Upper Cumberland, and you can tell that by the fact that it says UC. And then there are several others here that also provide respite services. So check that out. There's a lot of great, lot of great resources on here that you can reach out to. Okay, and you can see that there are at least 10 pages, if not more. I believe the database has over 1,500 resources. So go on here, search for whatever you're looking for. Respite was a great one. And so let's go ahead and transition. I want to show you what the Tennessee Respite Coalition website looks like. So if you want to just bypass that and just go to the Tennessee Respite Coalition, they do provide vouchers for caregivers so they can get a break. And that's what respite is a short break. And in order for you to relax and de-stress and take care of yourself. Okay, so here they'll tell their story, but most importantly is the contact information, and that's what you need to know. So reach out to those guys at the Tennessee Respite Coalition and let them help navigate you through what options they have available for you. I'm going to delete that one down. The next one that I want to point out to you is here. This is called Hilarity for Charity. And it looks like on their website it's became HFC. So this was originally started by Seth Rogen, and they've done a partnership with Home Instead. So through them, what they do is you go in and you put in your story, and they will screen your application, and if they have money available, then they will award you that to use with your local home instead, and that's because they've partnered with that entity. Now if you don't have a home instead in your area, or maybe home instead doesn't cover your county, which there are very few counties in the Upper Cumberland that home instead doesn't cover, but they will then they'll allow you to use a different provider. So great resource there and that's mainly for those with Alzheimer's disease or other type of dementias. That's where I would turn for other respite dollars. So while we have that up, let's go ahead and look at Alzheimer's Tennessee. And one of the things that I want to point out for you for them is this Get Help. They have Get Help, Get Information, and Learn More. And what they have is a training series that is amazing. They have the Caring and Coping, which they are doing virtually now because of COVID, but also on their website, they have what we call the Caregiver University. Let me move this down so I can get to Caregiver University. They also have support groups. Or maybe it's Academy. Nope. Let's see here. Caregiver support. Caregiver Academy online. So this is wonderful. They will walk you through a lot of great, what is dementia, what is Alzheimer's disease. So this is a great resource for you as caregivers who are taking care of a loved one with a cognitive impairment. And one of the ones that I think will be the most helpful during this time is the holiday tips. Let's talk about the holidays. That would be one for caregivers that I think would be very relevant to the time that we're in, especially with Thanksgiving coming around the corner. So they have that as well. So they have this, and they also have a program called Live Well, the Live Well Academy. So this is just to help support the individual with that has the dementia. This is for them to help them with their disease. Pat Summit Foundation also is a great resource for caregivers with someone with dementia or cognitive impairment. I'm not going to click on that, but check out that website also. Another one that I really want to point out, and I should have already had it up, but speaking of, is Teepa Snow. She is a great resource for caregivers that are taking care of a loved one with dementia. and I recommend her website to you, The Positive Approach to Care. So you can kind of see here that they have all different kinds of information. What you want to go to up here is the resources, and look at their dementia journals. They've got a lot of great information for you, resources for you. They have let's see, for professionals, for organizations, and for friends and family. So that's where obviously y'all will be going for the friends and family part. And you can also, on this website, it does have a lot of her videos that you can watch, but you can also check her out on YouTube. Again, that's tipasnow.com, great resource for us. All right, let's move along. So we have gone over the 211 and our state website. A couple other things I want to really point out to you, especially being during open enrollment, is those of you that may need help with your medication. So this is a great website for you. It's called Needy Meds, and over in the far box you will type in your medication that that you're looking for assistance. And oh, I didn't put anything in. Oh goodness. And I can't spell off the top of my head. So, but if you have a drug that you're taking, you can easily put it in the drug search here, and then hit search, and they will pull up what resources are out there for you. A lot of times though, a lot of the resources say that you cannot have Medicare, but there are some that you can have Medicare and still participate. So Needy Meds is a great website to look up those patient assistant programs. And another website for you is GoodRx. Now, I will give a disclaimer here on GoodRx. It wasn't until just last year during open enrollment I found this information out. GoodRx doesn't really allow you to use any insurance, so you would have to ask your pharmacy to run this as a cash price in order to get the coupons. But you just sign up for them, and they have all. You can see the popular searches that Lipitor is a very expensive medication. And okay, and you can see what they will provide that for. Now, I think I don't know what it has my county, because obviously we don't have a food city. So they'll help you look that up by county, and they'll provide coupons. Now, the one caution that I give you for this website is I have been told by a local pharmacy that they do sell your information, but I'll be honest with you, most places sell your information that you sign up for. I've actually used it myself on medication that I have taken in the past, and it has worked. So it's a great resource for you, but I do give you that word of caution. So there's a lot of things that you can look at here as well. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second so I can pull up another resource for us. Our relative caregiver program, which you heard me mention earlier, go back and share screen. They also have a resource guide, and it's a community resource guide as well. And it has more resources for children, but they have a lot of different things as well. They've included, bereavement. So with caregiving, there's a lot of grief that we deal with, and that can help. They have bereavement resources listed, job centers. They have a lot of different, as well as some of the same. So look through that guide after we post it. So they have a lot of great things too for you. And then let me stop sharing my screen. And the last one that I will show you is one that I will share with Caitlin, so y'all can have that. And it's a Word document of a bunch of different websites that are very helpful. Let me share my screen. And oh, there it is. All right. So here on this website, again, if you look at this document, we have the Commission on Aging. All you have to do is click on these resources. A lot of great information here. They have the healthfinder.gov. Again, Medicare.gov, that is a great resource if you're taking care of a loved one that has Medicare, or you yourself has Medicare. We've got our VA caregiver support program here that's listed. I remember I mentioned AARP earlier, and that links you to their caregiver resources. There are a lot of great resources on here. Family Caregiver Alliance, as just far as information, that is a great resource for you as well. So y'all can take time and go through that. And like I said, there are a lot of different resources on here. Financial steps for caregivers, dementia, and then they have some more disease specific organizations like cancer caregiving. They have a whole lot of resources listed there as well. And that's something too that, you know, we sometimes forget to do is, you know, if I'm diabetic, then look up the National Diabetic Foundation. When I was younger, stop sharing my screen now. But when I was younger, my mom actually utilized the Kidney Foundation for a lot of support with my kidney disease that I had, that I faced as a child. So just Google, it's a great, but that should at least give you a place to start. And if you have any questions, please send me an email, and hopefully I can direct you on where to turn.
Claire, thank you so much. I was sitting here trying to take notes and just vigorously writing, and I don't think that I even realized just how much there is to think about when it comes to caregiving. I witnessed my mom take care of her father as he was aging and needing more and more support. And I picked up on a few things, but this gives me a whole new level of appreciation and just awe of what it takes to do it.
Yeah.
And people experience it so differently. And so thank you for sharing these resources with us, and then we will in turn share it out to our viewership and people who follow us on social media and in e-newsletters and things like that. We did not have any questions that came through the live feed, but what I'm thinking is if they're like me, they're a little overwhelmed right now and thinking, oh my goodness, what are all of the steps to go through? Because I'm thinking about those things. You know, I was about to say my mom. Thankfully, she doesn't have Facebook. She'll never see this. So she's getting to the point where, you know, I'm driving her to doctor's appointments and things like that. And so knowing what resources are available to both she and I is hugely important. And so as questions arise, please feel free, either email me, Caitlin, at the Highlands, or message us on Facebook. Get in touch with Claire. Again, our contact information will go out after this live session ends. But I do also quickly, I know we're kind of nearing our 1 p.m. ending time, but I do want to make you all aware that we're going to have one final session on this 3-part series on caregiving, and it's going to take place Tuesday, December 8th, so not too far from now. It'll be at noon again on Facebook Live, and then for anyone who can't watch it live, it will also be uploaded to our YouTube channel. But Ms. Claire is going to be joined by Marie Ferran, who is an attorney with Aging Services for the Upper Cumberland, Inc. This is a nonprofit corporation which provides free legal assistance in specified areas of law for those who are 60 and above. And we're going to be talking specifically about the legal power of attorney and the process that it takes to obtain that. And then they're going to cover some frequently asked questions that come along with that process. So be sure to check that out on Tuesday, December 8th. Again, all of these sessions are uploaded, so you'll have access to them even past the date that we actually go live. And before we close out, Ms. Claire, do you have any final comments you want to make?
I know it is overwhelming, all the information that spouts out of my mouth, but just know that I'll be happy to repeat myself. And one of the resources that I forgot to mention, or actually show you the website, was the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee. There are a lot of PDF booklets like applying for choices, and will walk you through the steps. So if you're needing that kind of assistance, check there. Also for housing, I've had some people ask about, like, what is my rights as a renter, and they will there's some PDFs that talk about your rights as a renter. So a lot of great resources there as well, and I should have mentioned that.
Well, I will say that as overwhelming and as kind of intimidating as this process is, I think we're very fortunate in our region to have someone like you. The patience, your knowledge, all of those things that go into supporting someone, and what is not always an easy time. And it's scary. And so thank you for being here. Thank you for all that you do for our region and for caregivers. And again, if anyone has any questions, please reach out to either one of us. And if you reach out to me, I'll get the information or the questions to Claire. But thank you all so much for joining us today. And with that, we're going to close out.
Yeah. Thank you so much.